KCAA.
Ooh, baby. All right, this is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen, on the case for truth and justice with the right information to help improve the situation. This time last week, I was leaving South Carolina, not anticipating not because of the storm, but because our time was up. We had a great week. Sorry I wasn't here to be live with you, and I tried to, but then I was so influenced by the sunrise and the beauty of the beach and the wonderful friends and relatives that I was blessed to be with that I stayed with them and I didn't come to be with you. And I'm sorry about that, but I'm not sorry about that. And hopefully, a wrinkle or two that was here 2 weeks ago is no longer here. Uh, but there are some issues, some things that we need to be concerned about. Last week was National Black Suicide Prevention Week. A whole week dedicated to encouraging black folk in particular to avoid suicide. Now, that's pretty deep for me, for most of us, because, something about suicide, the little stigma, that, we're too, black folk don't go to, but black folk do commit suicide. Now, there's a push that says our rates are going up, that there's more black suicide now than ever. And it may be. That may be true. But the thing that kind of throws a veil across the answer to those statements or the response to those statements is that black folk, when they die mysteriously or die from, if they haven't been obviously killed or dying from old age, or they tend to be misanalyzed or classified as undetermined. Death, cause of death, undetermined. Some folks are saying that those could be suicides. The cultural competency and required, to really get into someone's life and determine what may have been some of the causes for their disappointment, for some of their despair, for some of the excuses. I can't say reasons, but then again, I've not encountered the feeling of pursuing self-imposed death. So I can't pretend to say that I understand or know, but I do know that there are some signs that all of us could pay attention to as we engage with our friends and family. There's just some things that let you know that somebody may seriously be considering ending what they call their plight of life. Those of us who are excited about life every day may find that as, but man, sometimes, they may be joking, they may be appearing to laugh, but if anybody is saying things like, I want to die, and those of us with old parents, when I say old, I mean in their 90s, we hear them say things like, well, I'm tired and I'm ready to go and I'm ready to go home. They don't mean go around the block. So we have to be very encouraging to our super seniors. My mother, for instance, she wakes up early. If she's up before 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning, she don't get to hear the show because she's an afternoon person. She's not a morning person. Now, during her younger days, she could force herself to get up and feel good about it, but now she does not feel good. If I talk to her before 11 o'clock in the morning, it's time to call the coroner. But Mom, hang in there. Don't even get up until 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, because after 12 o'clock, after she has a little time to feel the day, she is marvelous. She's feeling great. So I have to emphasize for her, Mom, the afternoons. I don't want her to accidentally or on purpose take too doggone many pills of anything. She's 96 years old, just turned 96. It's a blessing of life for us who are observing it. But boy, when she describes the pains and the aches and the wonderment, and plus we just lost Pop a couple of months ago, she's lonely. Those are reasons that people commit suicide. They're misunderstood. That's a reason that people commit suicide. They have economic problems. It's a reason that people embrace suicide. So if you hear somebody saying things like, I'm thinking about what it would be like to not have to go through this every day. Or if you see that they're searching online to find different ways that people commit suicide, it's not them, it's always somebody else. And I don't know, one of you guys may check on me and say, Wallace, why are you so interested in suicide? I'm not thinking about it, but I'm talking about it, and I have done some research on it. So if you know people that are talking about it, thinking about it, doing research on it, don't assume that they're going to do a radio show. Don't assume that they're getting ready to write a story. Ask them. If they're increasing their use of alcohol or drugs, if they're talking about, I don't want to be a burden. If they're acting anxious or agitated because, just this money thing, and every month I'm behind, or they sleep all day, or they're no longer answering the phone. Check on your friends. Check on your relatives. Check with the idea that life, though it may be exciting and great for you, it may be a burden for someone else. It may be a pain. And all of us have a pain. All of us have some level of anxiety, even in our most happy states. Did I win $1,000 or did I win $5,000? Something to worry about, isn't it? Isn't that an anxiety you'd like to have? Oh man, the free money's coming today. I wonder if they're going to give me $10,000 or if they're going to just give me $8,000. That's not a bad problem to have. But people could get anxious and over anxious about something as potentially delightful as that. So there are hotlines, lifelines. I understand there's a 988 lifeline.organization. You can call 988. Call or text 988 if you have these anxiety issues, or if you... Anyway, there it is. And it's something, there's things that we can do to relieve that pressure. Entertainment is a great thing. That's why I love our entertainers. The other thing is, how can we release some of the pressures of the economy? That's a great thing, too. So I've got two guests today that should help excite some people about life. One of them is Jumani. Jumani, I've watched this young man grow up. He was entertaining us when he was 2 years old. And he's entertaining us now, and he's entertaining us locally, and he's about to get out on a national tour. And he's a great kid. Well, I say a kid, once I watch you grow up, you're still a kid for me. He's a grown-ass man, and he does it every day. And we have, of course, Mr. Daryl Mooney. Daryl is going to talk to us a little bit later today. He is a wealth builder. His organization, the organization he's with is for real, folks. I invested since March, I've invested $2,000 with him, and my total balance right now is $3,000. Now that's not trying to lose money for you. That's pretty good. We'll be right back after this short break. I want to see how you and I and our friends can help make the world a little more exciting for folk who may be dulled by the experience. We'll be right back.
KCAA.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
Hey, kiddo, ready to catch that movie?
Almost. Wallet, phone, keys, mask. Yep, all set.
A mask? It's not required, is it?
No, but it's gonna be busy and crowded, so I'll feel better with it on.
You right. It is open at night. Let me grab mine.
Nice. You passed the vibe check, Dad.
Wearing a mask when it can help protect you and others is just one way to keep each other safer. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Hot, dry weather and a drought are impacting our water supply, but if we work together now, we can make our water last for us and for future generations. To learn more, visit SaveOurWater.com. Let's make it last, California. Here's tip number 1. To help save our water, wash cars with a bucket, sponge, and a hose that has a self-closing nozzle. You'd be surprised to know how much you can help save. To learn more, visit SaveOurWater.com. Let's make it last, California.
This is KCAA.
Oh, baby! Hey, we're back. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen. Southern California, man, I was in a beautiful place last weekend. Where you could watch the sun come up over the ocean. It's almost as beautiful as watching the sun go down over the ocean. I love the Atlantic Ocean, but I would not trade the Pacific for it. I would not trade any place I've ever lived for Southern California. And I hope you feel that way. And if you don't feel that way, that's because you probably don't live here. I'm not doing anything but simply inviting the rest of the world to come join us, if not forever, but for a moment, because it's a great place. We have Mr. Jumani on the phone. Jumani, how are you doing, son?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Mr. Wallace?
God is great. I'm extremely grateful and happy to talk to you this morning. How are you doing? What's going on with you?
Truly blessed. I can't complain. It's another beautiful day which the Lord has made. And I'm just great to be here with you and all the listeners, and it's truly a pleasure, sir.
That's great. That's great. That's why it's always good to talk to you. Jumani, you, as I stated to folks, you've been entertaining us here in the Inland Empire since you were a baby. And you are still endeavoring to do such. You're dancing, you're singing, you're acting. With all of those things that you do, what's the goal as you stand on stage or stand in front of folk and go through your demonstration of disciplined presentation?
Well, sir, I will say that I truly draw some affinity and passion with all my craft. I'm an entertainer and an artist, and what I seek to gain or experience is for each and every one of us to just come together, have a great time, have a fun time, and just enjoy each other's presence, some good music, some food for our souls, so we don't have to worry like the everyday, anxieties, like you mentioned, this stuff in which we could all just collectively and unify with one another through music.
And we see there's always, in the entertainment business, there's different ways that people approach things, and sometimes there's so much passion in the way that they approach it that they don't like the way other people approach. With all of this preparation and all of this being under the umbrella of good religious thought, good sharing thought, as you look at the world today, how critical do you think the message that entertainers can give is to making the world a better place?
Honestly, in entertainment business is highly influential on society as a whole. It's because we consume so much of it on a day-to-day basis that it often reflects itself in our behavior and our outlook on life. And so with us letting whatever you listen to or whatever you decide to witness, go through your ear gates and your eye gates and what you consume as far as media, it often affects your day-to-day life. And so it is very crucial and important what you let yourself listen to because it changes your mentality, your morals, and everything you think about.
So it's kind of like you're going to be what you eat, right?
Indeed. You are what you eat.
You are what you eat. So with that, are you writing your own songs now? Are you delivering your own messages? Are you utilizing the messages that have already been written and proven to be successful in people's ears and sight? What is your chosen route for the future?
Well, I will say I've done the mix of all those three. I have written some of my own, and I am using some of the pre-written messages from greats before me, and I'm going to continue to push out their message because it's very crucial for everyone to really unify on what they had to say. And I want to just say that whatever the Lord takes me, I'm open to the possibilities. I'm enjoying my craft, and I'm just sharing it with all those who love the craft as well. Whatever He has planned, I'm just here to.
You're ready.
share.
You're preparing yourself.
Bottom line is that I'm ready for whatever's coming my way.
Right. And that says a couple of things. We're in Southern California, and there will be so many people who will take my invitation and come out, check it out. Some of them have already decided, that they're Hollywood material, and they were coming anyway, and they don't owe me anything for the invitation, and certainly not even a free ticket to see them. But the thing is that so many people are waiting to be discovered, and then there are other people who have discovered themselves.
Very true.
And I, from what I know about you and your family, you're kind of a self-discoverer.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean that you, I don't think, are waiting for people to acknowledge that you're great. I remember you standing long before you had any idea that you were going to be a dancer or a singer. You were dancing and singing. And the beginning of all of that is, okay, yeah, Mom and Pop put you out there, but they weren't around when you were practicing necessarily. They weren't around when you were looking in the mirror, deciding that you liked doing this and making it work. And so my next question there is, as you look at your future, are you waiting for instance, like you said, you're going to follow God's push on this. When you're in the middle of the night, when words come to you, you get up and write them down. Now, what do you do with that? You wait for somebody else to tell you it's great, or you go on and try to produce that record yourself, or you're going to try to arrange that piece yourself so you can, So I understand you're on tour. When I say on tour, that means you're busy. I know many musicians who constantly say, there's not enough work around here. Not enough work around here.
Yes, it is very rough.
Okay. But at the same time, let's look at your tour package. When are you working again? Tell me. I mean, you sent me the list. I'm a bad bookkeeper, and I'll have to admit I don't have all that in front of me. So let's go through it with you. When's your next performance and where?
As a matter of fact, my next performance is next week on Saturday, the October 8th at Succumby Lake.
Right. Okay.
In the San Bernardino a cultural fest.
Yeah. Pull that official list out, because we'll want to tell people not only what date but when and where. You performed yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, indeed, I did.
That's right. So, I'm a journalist, but I don't know everything. I mean, I don't hear about everything going on, and as much as I would like to say I do, I don't have time for it. There's only 24 hours in my day, and 24 hours in everybody else's day. That already makes it 48, and I can't work yours and mine and make all that happen. So, with the advent of access to this radio show and newspaper and all, we want to share what's going on. I'll just say there's no work. Okay, you're working. Tell us about the events coming up. Let's run through this so people.
Right on. Well, you mentioned that I did perform yesterday at the 66 Route 66 celebration over there in downtown San Bernardino at the Court Street stage. That was a great event as well. Amazing cars. We still got it. But like I said, I mentioned the October 8th at Succumby Lake this Saturday. Indeed.
That's Succumby Lake in San Bernardino. That's on the corner of 5th Street and Sierra.
Yes, correct.
Right. And I've noticed they fenced that park in. Parks are natural, great places for people to come to when they want to relax, and sometimes that's where they go when they don't have a home. And I'm concerned about homelessness just like everybody else, and I think there's some solutions that if we don't be greedy, we could make happen.
Indeed, I agree.
I note that they're closing parks. I note that in front of the library, they've no longer got the beautiful grass landscape. With the water shortage, we can say, putting the rocks out in the desert fauna is a good thing for saving water. But I think our intentions were certainly to make it inconvenient for homeless people. So I say that for two reasons. One, I don't like it. And two, some of you folks who want to come to a concert will like the fact that the park has been fenced off. There's no homeless people hanging out. So, two good things. One, the park is being brought back to
Correct.
And the lake and the ducks and the geese and all of that is something we all want to share. And as I say that, I do want to point out that we also need to be fixing up a place for homeless people so that they don't have to go back to the park. And I don't know if there's any shortage of ducks, but I tell you, if I'm hungry and I'm one of those people, I'm telling you, you better duck. So we have to put ourselves in the position of some of these people that are having issues. And I think that this circumstance with the tornado, the hurricane, where we can all see that devastation, we should all be able to see the blessing that we're operating with too here where we are, what you're doing. Amen. So, all right, so that's Succumbee Lake, and that's next Saturday. And what's your event after that, Jumani?
All right. Also, that event, just to give you a time, it's at 10 a.m.
Okay.
But I will say one of the big ones that are coming up, as a matter of fact, is going to be the December 3rd. It's a little ways away from now, but it's going to be a good show. It's going to be at the Rose in Montclair. I'm opening up for, the Canyon. Excuse me, not the Rose, the Canyon. My apologies. It's going to be in Montclair, and I'm opening up for Tierra, and Malo.
Okay. So that's a nice show for you. I understand you're doing a Temptations tribute that you'll be opening up for, too.
Indeed, as well. That's going to be in January.
Okay. And how long is that tour?
How long is it, or how long is it?
Is that going to be? That's going to be here in the Inland Empire, right?
Correct.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Well, give me an idea of one of the things that if you could solve the problem, what would be the first big problem on the planet that you would solve? I know I didn't prepare you to answer that to save the world, but you get up every day with the idea of doing something that, according to what I know about you, is to make the world a better place. So you don't have to save it with the best idea, but let us know what is your idea.
Well, man, I'm plagued with this the idea of people not having love for one another, as far as the lack of trust and the corruptness. And people are very dark nowadays, and things aren't what they used to be. It's the connections and how people used to have each other's back, and like I said, just the love that used to be there, or that we strive to achieve, seems to be just so close, but yet so far. Understand?
Well, you're breaking up at the perfect time. That was that's why we love you. That's why we're proud of you. That's why when I say we, I have to know that there's at least 3 other people that feel that way. My wife is one of them, and your mother's the other one. But I know that when we watch people applaud and enjoy and dance and move when you perform, that you're pleasing them as well. Your thoughts are deep and complete and wonderful. And Jumani, I'm proud of you and proud to be in a position to say, hey, I know this young man, and I knew him before he was autograph worthy. And I can get an autograph. Listen, I appreciate you. You keep up the good work, and we'll be looking to see you next Saturday at Succumbee Lake. And we'll be bringing you on because you think deeply, and we appreciate good, deep thinking. God bless you, young man. Thank you for being with us. All right, that's Empire's Talks Backs. Oh, man, I was just so proud of that young man. I'm proud of so many people in the Inland Empire because this is the birthplace of new thought. This is a place where we are certainly as old as anyone else, but I think we're newer than many others, and that's critical. You guys, we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back and talk about another aspect of what we can do to help prevent people from feeling like they have to run out the back door via suicide. And if you're able to talk to a young man like Jamani a couple of times a week, you won't think about suicide as a solution. Certainly our next guest, Daryl Mooney, wealth builder, comedian, son of one of the greatest comedians on the planet, who is no longer on the planet, but is observing it and probably stirring us up as we speak and think about it. But he'll be back with us in a few minutes, Mr. Daryl Mooney, and we're going to talk about wealth building and how you can, if you're going to commit suicide, man, at least leave somebody some money. We'll be right back.
But now it seems like things are finally coming around. I know we've got a long
KCAA.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
COVID-19 vaccines help keep our families safer from the risks of COVID-19. Now, children 6 months and older are eligible to receive that same reassuring protection. As a parent, you might have questions or want to find out more about COVID-19 vaccines for kids. And that's okay. Talk with your doctor today or visit vaccinateall58.com to learn more so you can feel good about the facts. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Hot, dry weather and a drought are impacting our water supply, but if we work together now, we can make our water last for us and for future generations. To learn more, visit SaveOurWater.com. Let's make it last, California. Here's tip number 2 to help save our water. Check your toilet and faucets for leaks on a regular basis. You'd be surprised to know how much water a tiny leak can waste. To learn more, visit SaveOurWater.com. Let's make it last, California.
This is KCAA.
Ain't no stopping us now. Boy, one of the things that stops us is that a credit card being denied. One of the things that stops us is they want money for the bread. They want money for the rent. They want money for the money. Everything costs money. Enough of those declined credit cards or no, we won't give you anything to slide you through regardless of the fact that your house was just taken by a tornado. Man, the idea of not being able to make it, a lot of people will take to suicide. Think about it for sure. And that's one of the things we are concerned about as we look at Florida, Fort Myers. And that's the one that they keep putting in front of you. But there are people who were in just as bad a shape as those folk who were victims of this hurricane. We have victims of other things that, we put 120 people died there so far that we know about. Well, 200 and some people, no. Yeah, twice as many people were killed in a soccer. What are they? Everybody just, they had a big, when everybody just goes nuts, and they had this big riot. So we have problems, and money's one of the biggest ones. Daryl Mooney is involved with a company called Novatech. There are many ways that people make money with Novatech. I brag to myself about being so smart to have invested a couple $1,000 with them since March, and they've given me $1,000 in interest during that time. And I'm doing what we should do, and that's tell our friends and relatives that, hey, I found a little hole. I found something that gives back, and I'm happy about that. Daryl, we started the show talking about the impact of desperation, the impact of not having enough, and suicide is a thing that is very much a black issue now. We have a special week. Last week was Black Suicide Prevention Week. And a whole week for Black Suicide Prevention. Had no idea we had that type of issue, but we do. And one of the big reasons that people do that is desperation, financial desperation. I know that you haven't planned your operation or your involvement as a suicide prevention project, but people making money can prevent folks from that level of desperation. You're a wealth builder. Tell us about how you got involved with that and what all of that means to you.
Hey.
I know I came heavy at you. I don't mean to come so heavy because lighten up, Wallace. Come on now. But yeah.
I like the fact that you opened up with one of my favorite songs in my life. Ain't no stopping us now.
All right now.
You're on the move. Yeah, that was my song there, boy. With all that you said, my goal is to win. One of my goals, one of my fantasies is to win the Nobel Peace Prize for creating more millionaires than anybody on the planet.
Whoa.
That's a big goal.
Well,
because I believe when people own their own lives and own their own surroundings and have the freedom to do what they want when they want, and have the freedom to create, have the freedom to go where they want to go when they want to go, and be with who they want to be with when they want to be with them.
That sounds like freedom.
Person that has freedom, and financial freedom is not the ultimate freedom, because the ultimate freedom is inner freedom. However, in a world that places a high value on the dollar or on currency that's always exchanging and always transacting, whether we're born or whether we exit the planet, it still goes on with or without us. That we need to learn about it, I would think. And so for me, and I can only speak for myself, what it has done for me, I make anywhere from $8,000 to $15,000 a week and growing. So I'm a small fry, because I just heard today, my man, there are people on the planet in the industry that I am into making $1 million a day now.
Whoa. Let me just breathe deep on that one.
Yes, thank you. You feel like me now. I started sweating when I first heard it.
People who are involved in the investment tools, using the investment tools that and accessible through the program that you are working with.
Well,
this isn't one of those. I know somebody who knows somebody.
Well, in my program, I'm talking about in the industry overall.
Okay.
In the program that I feature, I know this for a fact because my sponsor's sponsor is the biggest person in the entire company.
Okay.
And he makes, that I know, $1 million a week. Now, when we talk about $1 million a day, my brother.
$1 million a week is I mean, right now, let me say this. $1 million that I can play with, that I can do. The first $1 million.
52 weeks, right? That's $52 million that you have coming. That ain't like 52 million that just comes one time in 1 year. That keeps coming every day, year after year, and more.
And makes more because you're reinvesting some profit. You know how crazy that is? That's like when somebody told me $1 million a day, I literally started sweating. Yeah, because
I don't have the bandwidth to even deal with that. Then I had to relax and say to myself, what would I do with $1 million a day?
No, what will I do with my $1 million
Thank you.
a day?
Thank you. Thank you.
Well,
so in my little 8 to 15,000, which seems little compared to that, but to a person who's making nothing, that seems wealthy, right?
That's right. And
so for me, it has changed my life. It has put me in command of my relationship, of my marriage, my family. It has raised my level of responsibility. So what I love about it, because it's the product is money. When we help people, we make money. When people help themselves, they make money, and I make money, and it's just money. By way of cryptocurrency, has the currency which we can exchange into the dollar. Or most countries around the world, you can change their crypto into the currency of that country. So therefore, it's spendable currency that can change the quality of your life. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, especially if you add the component that makes all of this make money, and that's the compounding of interest.
Yes.
And the compounding of interest, it takes place every day, but you don't get to share in it every day.
Well,
your bank.
This is a spiritual law. This is a spiritual law applied to money. Think about it, because it's not the law of compounding interest that's the eighth wonder of the world. It's the law of compounding that's the eighth wonder of the world. Now.
Oh, we're going to have to take a break, and when we come back, I want you to start right there, compounding. Okay, compounding, because that's multiplication. It takes place every day with a bank, but they don't give you any of it except once a year.
Yeah.
3%, 1%, 0.5% a year, and you're supposed to be happy with that. And we know they're making their money every day. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen. We're speaking with Daryl Mooney, a wealth builder, a man who has the ability to, well, I'm talking to him, and my ears are not laid back. They're wide open, because this man knows stuff that I don't know, stuff that you don't know, and stuff that's going to be beneficial to you. So stick around. When we come back, he's going to lead us into a conversation about compounding. You can go look it up in the dictionary so that you can test us when you get back. We'll be right back.
KCAA.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
Californians have worked really hard to beat COVID-19 by doing the things we know work best, like getting vaccinated and boosted, testing before and after travel, staying home when feeling sick, and wearing a mask when it can protect us and others. Let's continue to do our part to keep each other safer from COVID-19. When we work together, there's nothing we can't overcome. Learn more at covid19.ca.gov. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Hot, dry weather and a drought are impacting our water supply, but if we work together now, we can make our water last for us and for future generations. To learn more, visit SaveOurWater.com. Let's make it last, California. Here's tip number 1. To help save our water, wash cars with a bucket, sponge, and a hose that has a self-closing nozzle. You'd be surprised to know how much you can help save. To learn more, visit SaveOurWater.com. Let's make it last, California.
This is KCAA.
All right, this is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen. We're speaking with Daryl Mooney about wealth building. Daryl's going to be here in the city of San Bernardino on the 22nd of October at 164 Hospitality at the Heat Center. You can give me a call, 909-915-7922, and join us at that meeting. We're going to be talking about what we're talking about now, except, you'll be there to ask the real question and see if you want to be involved or not. That's October 22nd at the Heat Center, 164 Hospitality Lane in San Bernardino. Daryl, before we got off for the break, we were talking about compounding.
Oh, wow. First, the law of compounding. The law of compounding is called the eighth wonder of the world.
Okay.
That Albert Einstein called. It's when you compound. What he's talking about, he's a scientist, right?
Okay.
So when you combine ingredients and they come together and make a greater ingredient.
Okay.
Okay, or the universe, when you do a mix, like for instance, the what they call a nova, a supernova. A supernova is a combination of ingredients called planets and stars that come together and compact and become one and then explode as a supernova and explodes more planets that build. And from those explosions, from those multiple planets, a few of them grow and explode, right? And we create more. It's compounding. Well, in the financial world, it's when you take your investment and then you take your profit from that investment, reinvest it on that profit, where you reinvest it on that original investment. Let's say you have $1,000 and you make $50, and you take that $50 profit. Now you have $1,050 that you're getting profit of. That's compounding, and in our system, we pay 3 to 5% return back to you, whether that be $100 or whether that be $1 million. You're going to get 3 to 5% return every week on your money, and you can reinvest it, and you will be practicing the eighth wonder of the world.
That's a beautiful thought. That's a beautiful activity. Over a period of time, like I said, I've invested $2,000 since March, and my total balance now is $3,000.
Right.
You can figure that out with a lot of numbers, but to me, you know what that means?
Yeah.
I'm going to put some more money in.
Yes.
And according to my sponsor, Mr. Amsis Ma'at, that by continuing to add to it, and it's adding to itself, that he's showing me a 3-year plan to becoming a millionaire.
Yes.
Now, my dad was a mason, a contractor, bricklayer, and his goals were to be able to work through the winter. He provided well. He provided enough that I would probably be one of the most arrogant people that I know when I was growing up. And you don't.
At least you admit it.
Yeah, well, I admit it because there was a blessing that created that. My dad he was not the richest man with money, but he was a pretty smart motivator. Just to tell you a quick situation, walking around one day, and Dad, I guess I was about 9 years old, and Dad said, "Hey, what are you doing, buddy?" And I said, "Oh, nothing, Dad." He said, "Come here, I got something for you." And being a bricklayer and having worked with him, I've handled brick and stuff. "Son, there's a pile of stone and brick behind the garage. I need you to move those over behind the barbecue pit." "Okay, I'm going to go do that." Or come back. "Dad, guess what? They're already behind the barbecue pit." He said, "No, son, I made a mistake. Move them from behind the barbecue pit over to behind the garage." "Oh, okay, do that." 6 months later, "Son, what are you doing?" "Oh, nothing, Dad." "Hey, I need you to do something for me. You know those brick and stone behind the garage? Go move those and put them behind the barbecue." I did that about 3 times, 4 times, because I kept saying, when he'd ask me, "What are you doing?" I said, "Nothing." He gave me something to do. And the world asks you what you're doing and you say nothing, they'll give you something to do that's just as repetitive and just as inefficient and just as much a time waster as me moving those bricks from behind the garage to behind the barbecue pit back and forth until I figured out. One day Dad said, "What are you doing, son?" I said, "Oh, Dad, I got to go down and help Aunt Chris." My aunt lived down the street. And then she does some stuff she wanted me to do, and then Mom wanted me to do something. He said, "Well, get busy, do it." Since then, I've kind of tried to set my own schedule, my own agenda. That's what the world is telling us as you go get your check, as you go talk to that bank that has, you've been so loyal to, and that's what they'll send you a letter, tell you how loyal you've been, and, offer you a 0.5% if you put yourself in debt for another whatever. You have to be your own friend. Just like I was speaking to the young man earlier, Jumani. The rest of the world discovered him very early. Now he's discovering himself, and he's going to be in charge of his schedule, in charge of his future, in charge of deciding whether he's going to echo other people's work or whether he's going to create his own. I encourage him to create his own, but I tell you also, if you can be good enough to redo James Brown or redo Marvin Gaye, you better be bad. So are you going to come tell Paul Mooney's jokes again? You better know what you're doing. So it's there for us.
Yes. So we invite people, sir, people like yourself and others, and 18 and above, and I have a theme that I say it takes a village to raise a millionaire. And think about that. It takes a village to raise a millionaire. And it takes a village to raise a millionaire. I say that 3 times for a particular reason. When people hear that, and a lot of people will think, caring people will think, "Ooh, I can help someone become a millionaire." That's their first thought. But they never think of people can help me become a millionaire. You see what I'm saying? A millionaire for me, not helping others become millionaires, which is cool, but what about me becoming a millionaire?
Well, if I'm a millionaire, then I can decide who I want to help.
You can decide who you want to help. And in what we do, brother, see, when you join in, you have a business and you're investing in the wealth quadrant of Robert Kiyosaki, the cash flow quadrant. There's a left side, employee, and there's self-employed, E&S. That's the poor side, poor dad side. On the poor person, on the rich person side, the rich dad side, is business and investing. So when you sign up with us, because you can help others make money, you are in business. So you get on the B side, on the wealth side with a B, and then you are also an investor.
I got to interrupt you because we're on the fastest hour on radio.
I'm ending it with this. You are a rich person mentally as soon as you sign up with us. Go on, sir.
There you go. And the B side means be somebody. Step up. Don't be a B second. Be somebody first.
Because I am.
You am. I look forward to seeing you on October 22nd. Maybe you can join us next week and excite a few people. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm speaking with Daryl Mooney. Be somebody. You can be a millionaire. You don't have to be begging and crying. Hey, when you see other people in misery, you can send them some money. That's a good thing to do. Huh? You say you want to make the world a better place? Make it a better place. Send them some money. Hey, we'll be back next week under two circumstances. One, you call us, become a millionaire. Or, the good Lord's willing, and the creek don't rise. God bless you. See you then. Hey, even if you ain't a millionaire, don't even want to be one, give me a call. Be here. We will help you be what you want to be. God bless you.
We won't let nothing hold us back.
KCAA Loma Linda. The Legacy KCAA 1050 AM and Express 106.5 FM.
The information and opinions you hear on the Del Walmsley radio show are those of the host, Del Walmsley.